Why didn't I talk about the survey on yesterday's show? Well, I did want to get into the Fangraph stuff, all right? But the real reason was I wanted to make sure it was bleeping real. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into football and or hockey. I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. And yeah, in addition to all that, I was in Salt Lake City covering hockey. So I had my brain just completely in a different place. But now I'm home and I have not only seen this survey, I completed it just for fun. And now, poof, it's gone. It's been taken down. Obviously, never should have gone up. This might be some of the most ill-advised marketing of all time. And I don't just mean the Pirates asking their fans, their season ticket holders, what they think of this or that. Companies do that all the time. That's not just common practice. That's smart business. You want to know what it is that your consumers think of you, expect of you. But my goodness. To what extent do you agree with the following statement? The Pittsburgh Pirates as an organization care about building a winning team. The 5 options are strongly disagree, somewhat disagree, all the way up to strongly agree. You are putting into public view the possibility that you actually don't care about building a winning team. There are 1.5 billion ways to ask this question without denigrating yourself to that extreme. Care about building a winning team. You guys know I don't get stumped a whole lot here. I don't get speechless a whole lot. But I am here. I really am. Here's another one. Overall, what is your impression of the Pittsburgh Pirates? 5 options, and the options here are what stand out. Excellent, good, average, poor, terrible. You don't ever do this. And I'm not some marketing wizard here, okay? You don't ever do this. Your lowest possible option here, just for nothing other than a marketing standpoint, should be could do better or hoping for more or something like that. You don't say terrible. You don't put that down as a firm option. So on one hand, you can, and I've seen, heard, and read some people over the past 24 hours saying, hey, at least they're asking, at least they want to know whatever we're thinking, good for them. I would look at it a different way. I would look at it as, really? You've got to do this to find that out? But I also, I'm not a conspiratorial type, but I started thinking some crazy things when this first materialized, not least of which, I'll repeat, was that it wasn't real, that this was something that was, satirical from the Onion. And then my next thought, don't laugh this off, please. I'm just sharing with you, boom, boom, boom thoughts as they happened. My next one was, oh, they've got something massive coming, and they're going to stick it in all of our faces. Like next week, they're going to sign the greatest right fielder who ever lived or trade for him or something. And then the next day, they'll sign Paul Skeens to some lifetime contract. And then they're going to say, take your survey there or something. But then, reality hits. It's the Pirates. Neither of those things is going to happen. So I finally settled on this. I settled on some halfway concept between, my God, they must employ the dumbest marketing people in the history of civilization. And then also, they're flailing because they're rattled, because they genuinely don't, as I've been sharing with you, not for months, but for years, pay attention or heed what's happening on the outside. Do they read the stuff that I write on DK Pittsburgh Sports? Sure, there's been evidence of that. I'm sure it's not, something they enjoy doing very often. But I'm easily dismissed, as I've also shared with you in the past. I'm one person. They can just say he's this or that, or he's a weird dude, or he just hates us, or he's going for clicks, or who knows what. Okay, you can do that easily when it's one person. What you can't do is dismiss the numbers. And you know what I'm about to bring up here, because it was this relatively small but really noisy group of protesters who first became visible through simple marches downtown and everything. Then they started getting support from different people who couldn't be in Pittsburgh for those things, paying for these billboards that are up everywhere. Sell the team Bob. And then you have outfits like the Pittsburgh Clothing Company jumping in and selling those as shirts and selling them quite well. And then Pirates Fest happens, and everything for the first time converges. The protesters are there. You got to drive past the billboards to get there, but just in case, they had a mobile billboard, one of those little things that, those little sliver-looking trucks that ride around to send a message. This was going all through downtown on the 2 days of Pirates Fest. Sell the team, Bob. They make their way in for the management Q&A session. They cause a bit of a ripple there. They get other people to feel emboldened to say something. They get other people to feel as if their voice counts. This is why I have taken umbrage from day one at anyone who just, you're wasting your time. You really think he's going to sell because you're walking? That's not how this works. That's not how it works in any protest of any scale, of any level of seriousness anywhere in the world. They all start small. They all start making people feel a little bit more courageous. Then the next thing you know, the owner and everybody else under him associated with the team starts feeling antsy, starts feeling like, whoa, hey, hang on a second. It's not just that one writer guy who's saying that we should have changed management after 5 failed seasons. It's like everybody. There are videos of Nutting being accosted in public now. I'm not saying anything about that. Remember, we're still just talking about baseball here, okay? But all of that begins with these people, these hardy few people who made themselves visible and vocal, very apparently at least scared the living hell out of some marketing person in that building. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Jacob. It's a good one. It says, DK, last week you said in an episode that you think the art of hitting is dead because of guys like Corey Dickerson no longer being in the game. And I get that Adam Frazier doesn't fit the Pirates roster in terms of where they are now and where he is now. But I think he could at least bring to the table some of that, especially with the way this team struck out last season. Jacob, I'm ill-equipped to comment on where Adam is right now. I know where he was last time I was really paying attention to him, and that's when I was covering him. He was at the top of the world. All-star. He was right up there for the batting title. And yeah, he was doing a lot of that in an old school Luis Arias kind of way, since Luis actually might be the last connection to real live hitting in baseball. I got to tell you, and then we're just having a conversation here, so there's not any sort of, agreement or disagreement or whatever. My impressions of Adam when he was here before really weren't related to the Tony Gwynn, Rod Carew, Pete Rose style of hitting. More often than not, when Adam would go into a slump, it would be this whole long string of 4-3 ground outs. It would just be rolling over. And the reason for that was that he would just lose the ability to go oppo. So they'd pitch him away, he'd swing at it, roll over. If you are that Arias type of hitter, that's not an issue for you. Whereas when Adam would get going, he would mostly drive the ball to center and really to right. Not that he was a dead pull guy or whatever, but he would pull, and he would pull with some pop. So maybe you can look at his numbers, whether it was 3-4 years ago or even just this past season with the Royals, and you can say, oh, he looks like he's someone who lives off soft contact or whatever. And that's actually really not the case. So if you're looking for a hope for someone to preserve that type of hitting, Arias is your guy. He really is. He's not the only one in the game, but he's the best at it. And I got to tell you, when he became available from the Marlins about a year ago, my eyes were bugging out of my head. I would have loved to have seen someone like that in Pittsburgh. At the same time, I knew the Pirates would never, not under Ben Cherington, go for somebody like that because, he can actually hit. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We'll do another one of these on Monday.